Greetings and welcome to another episode of Q Points Podcast. I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is J. Ray, sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. And Sir Daniel, in this moment, we need to talk about comprehension and understanding. There's so much happening in the
Woo,
world.
what I need from y'all is understanding. Listen, it seems like every time Kendrick Lamar releases music,
Oh, yeah.
there's like a rash of industry chatter that results in someone getting in their feelings.
Every time.
And every single time. And it's just like, is anybody listening? Turn this on. I need y'all to turn this on. Listen to what's saying. And in this episode of Q Points J Ray, we are going to talk about some misunderstandings because people aren't listening. People aren't listening to comprehend. People are listening so they can make their point. So in the song Whacked Out Murals, J Ray, Kendrick spits the following. I used to bump the Carter 3. I held my Rolly chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Wayne down. So immediately you and I are like, oh man, he feels he feels like he let down one of his heroes. He's literally saying I let Wayne down. That means he holds that man in some form of respect, right?
Right.
But of course, your cousins, J Ray, they gotta come and say, oh, he won it with Wayne. He trying to get Wayne. He's already disrespecting him by being in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Now he's trying to diss Wayne. Oh, you about to wake the bear up.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. And I think none of this would be as big of a deal if Lil Wayne himself didn't jump in and give a why am I in it? Let the beast lie, da 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 da. And I'm like, Wayne, did you even listen to like the bar? Like, so this is weird to me. I heard this bar. I listened to Whacked Out Murals. I was actually really tuned in to be like, is Kendrick going to diss somebody in this track? Like opening track after Not Like Us, is this going to be a continuation?
Right.
And I was like, I left the track not feeling that way. I left the track like, okay, Kendrick is he's rapping, he is being introspective, he is introducing this new project, right? This particular line is not a diss. It's just not.
It's not a diss.
It doesn't read like a diss. He didn't rap it like a diss. It was more just to your point. I had this success. I have this thing that has come to me. But at the same time, I feel like I let down one of the people that I really respect in the midst of getting this opportunity. That seems very straightforward to me, but my wonder and why we wanted to have this conversation is I wonder if we are in a moment where people revel in the mess. Like it is the thing that people look for. They just can't let it be like, oh, this brother is like having an introspective moment and that's okay.
Yeah, I think the bloodlust is way too strong for anybody to, at this point, for any of the people involved, for the fans, for the podcasters, the journalists. I think people are way too involved and it's making people money. Yeah. So the bloodlust is super strong for the drama. And so you're absolutely right. So having some nuance or understanding nuance and wanting to find understanding would cause peace. And apparently nobody wants that.
Yes.
Everybody wants the rah-rah. Everybody wants to thump their chest right now. And instead of just really celebrating good music, this has turned into well, we've seen what happens. This has turned into litigation. People
That's
are
a
getting
whole
their
conversation.
It's kind of wild. And when you look at it, the only people that are benefiting is the parent company. Yes. Universal Music really is the only person benefiting from all of this. It's like Jay-Z said, nobody wins when the family feuds.
Yeah. That is why, especially when we take a look at hip hop, because rap is so much about bravado and being the best, right, at your craft. I can see how it is easy for folks to get caught up in the moment. And what often happens, folks, is there are misunderstandings, and we wanted to talk about a couple of honest misunderstandings in hip hop history that actually led to beef, but they were not based in anything that was a diss at all.
And what's funny about these hip hop misunderstandings that we're going to discuss is that there was no social media. So
So
I'm
we didn't
wondering,
know.
if there was social media, would this have been even worse? Like, would it have gotten, it probably would have caught on like wildfire and would have
Yes.
really been blown out of proportion. But when you told me about this one, I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious, actually, especially considering the people involved.
Yeah. So shout out to DJ Kenny Parker. In our description, we will include Kenny Parker's full break. So DJ Kenny Parker is the DJ for KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions. So he is, and he's also KRS-One's brother. So he has all of this history, and
Mhm.
he does these different segments on his YouTube channel. So I, to your point, Sir Daniel, did not know about this particular beef because it happened in the early 90s, and it was very much happening in New York, right?
Right.
So we are talking about the beef between Boogie Down Productions and the UMCs. Now, all of y'all likely know who Boogie Down Productions is, but the UMCs, though, were two brothers from Staten Island, Haas G and Cool Kim. And
Not to be
I
confused with the ultramagnetic MCs.
not to be confused with the ultra. Thank you so much. Not to be confused with them. Even though that's real interesting that they did pick that name because ultramagnetic already existed. Anyway, um they were known for a song. They had the number one hit. They had a number one hip hop track in Blue Cheese. Like that was a
Right.
huge song, and in like 1991. So, according to DJ Kenny Parker in 1992, the UMCs, Das Effects, Fushnikins, some other groups, and Boogie Down Productions were on the same bill at a show in New York. Very regular. This is going to be a hip hop show, all of that stuff.
Right.
Boogie Down Productions, of course, is the biggest group, so they are going to close the show. They are the headline act. They close the show. So the way this beef started is kind of wild. So every MC, every act did a freestyle segment because it's hip hop. That's the thing
Right.
that you do. You do a freestyle segment in your thing. So Kenny Parker was like, "We do one too in our segment." So in the middle of the set, I'll get on the drum machine and Chris will start, rapping. And he said, "Here's what KRS-One said." He said at the start of his freestyle, a lot of MCs come on the stage and claim that they can freestyle, but a lot of UMCs can't freestyle. I'ma show y'all how to freestyle.
Mm.
So Kenny Parker is like, I hear the crowd going like, ooh, whatever. He's like, he didn't even say, what did he
It's like,
say? Like, he
did
didn't
I
even
miss
say nothing.
something?
Like, he didn't even say nothing crazy. Like, I don't know what they ooh it for, but sure. KRS-One does his freestyle, blah, blah, blah. But the UMCs who have gone off, right? They performed already, approach them afterwards and say, yo, like what happened? Like, what did we do? And he's like, they are confused. And of course, KRS-One and them are confused. Like, what are you talking about? And they were
Huh?
like, no, the freestyle, the UMCs. And he was like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm not, that was just a
I meant
line. Like,
YOUMC.
why UMCs, not UMCs like y'all, just UMCs like the collective of MCs. And so what it started as was they got upset. They wanted KRS-One to go and specifically say, I'm not talking about the UMCs. And there was a lot of back and forth around what should have happened. Like he agreed to do it and then didn't do it, blah, 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 blah. But that beef literally came from a random line in a freestyle that was very straightforward.
And just
A
get
lot
for
of UMCs can't
context,
freestyle.
just for context, let paint the picture of like the type of guys the UMCs are, like, and the type of video Blue Cheese was, because when you describe them, people are going to be like, "Oh, that doesn't even sound like somebody that KRS-One would come after or diss," because for all intents and purposes, they were kids.
Yes. You know, mop head, one of them had like the mop head dreads and
Hmm.
colorful outfits. Blue Cheese as a video had like a blue puppet. It was weird. I was like, I don't know what this blue alien puppet has to do with anything. And it was just a very colorful video. So it wouldn't even make sense that to your point, that KRS-One would diss them. Because it's like
Right.
they ain't do nothing.
It's so wild. And yeah, again, for people, and it's the crowd
The
immediately
crowd.
latched onto that one line thinking, oh, well, they just got off the stage, so he's got to be talking about them. And you know what? Maybe because KRS-One had a reputation for, for battling people face to face and saying stuff on and talking ish on
Yeah.
stage. So people were probably like, oh yeah, Chris is on one tonight. He about to tear somebody head off in this cipher tonight. So this time it's the UMCs. Yeah, your blue cheese is out of here. Your blue cheese is ranch.
Not your blue cheese is ranch. That's a DJ Sir Daniel quotable, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, if he would have said that, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah. You really trying to start some stuff. You want to be starting something, Chris.
But Sir Daniel, you mentioned something really important. This wouldn't mean anything had the crowd, to your point. The reason that I'm sure the UMCs also reacted is because of the way the crowd reacted, right?
Right.
So they picked up on the fact that he said this thing and then the crowd reacted, and we are also called the UMCs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had the crowd not reacted crazy, they probably also wouldn't have reacted crazy. So that fact of the crowd in that room hyping it up as a thing is part of what made it. And I also would have been, I can't say how I would have reacted in the moment if I was in that room in the moment and having just saw the UMCs perform. Also, to your point, knowing the reputation of KRS-One, I too, as a hip hop fan, may have read that line as a diss.
Right. Well, here's the thing, and here's another perspective. The UMCs are relatively new to the industry.
Yep.
I don't know. This is probably one of their first. This is like maybe one of their first outings, touring and performing alongside somebody you probably looked up to. Makes you feel a way. You feel all your insecurities start showing up, and this happens to all of us.
Yes.
This happens to all of us in all walks of life, when we feel like, when we're encountering anything that speaks to our insecurities, and that makes us question our abilities and our purpose, we start to immediately start projecting.
Yes.
And so I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that the UMCs were probably like, oh my God, I knew they didn't like us. I knew, and this is KRS-One. Oh my God, I love KRS-One. Damn, he hates us. Oh my God, I got to find out what's happening. He's talking about us. He's got to be talking about us, because in our minds, we think we're great, but then are we really that great? There's probably a whole lot of inner dialogue going on. And don't let the bravado fool you. A lot of these rappers, present day counted, are insecure, have a lot of insecurities, and just because they have 1,000,001 people know who they are, and they have more money than the average person, does not negate the fact that they have ego, and that they have insecurities, and their insecurities are probably magnified 1,000 times more than you and I, who are able to have a normal private life.
So, to that point, Sir Daniel, you're absolutely right, because this beef that you also mentioned to me completely flew over. I would never imagine this group, to your point, was in a like, you want to talk about superstar established, like they were at the top of the food chain feeling some kind of way.
So I have a theory about that, but so I'll let you all in on what J Ray and I are discussing. So when we were talking about rap misunderstandings. I recalled an interview between Salt-N-Pepa and Queen Latifah, and they were reminiscing about a Club MTV Spring Break performance, and man, though I miss
I
those.
miss
Those were some
those.
fun times to see our
Special.
folks out there outdoors
Yes.
performing, and water slides and
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so Queen Latifah, this was like 91, 92. Queen Latifah, her second album is out, and she's promoting Latifah's Had It Up to Here.
Mhm.
And Salt-N-Pepa happened to be at the same performance. They probably recorded their performance earlier. So they're chilling in the crowd watching Queen Latifah perform because they love Queen Latifah. They really enjoy her as a rapper. And there, for those of you who are, Latifah fans and know the song Latifah's
Yeah.
Had It Up to Here, there is a rhyme.
It is.
And it makes me laugh just even thinking about that. There's a rhyme where Queen Latifah says, she says, "Hatchoo, I'm allergic to whack crews."
Mhm.
So in her performance, mind you, Salt-N-Pepa's like in the audience.
Yeah.
In her performance, lies moving about stage, she just so happens to stop where Salt-N-Pepa are standing and delivers her "Achoo, I'm allergic to whack crews" rhyme, and the bar hits Salt-N-Pepa like, she's talking about us. Oh my God, what is she? And I'm what? So
Right.
Salt-N-Pepa are thinking, and you can see the look on Latifah's face, like, are y'all being serious right now?
So she didn't know until they talked about it.
She had no clue, and they were like, "Oh my God, we thought you were talking about us, and we couldn't. We were just flummoxed. We could not understand what did we do. We love Latifah. Oh my God, she hates us. Did we do something?" And I'm pretty certain they were looking at each other like, "Girl, did you say something to one of the other members of her crew? Did we not get off stage on time?" And so again, the unknown, fear of the unknown, and with absolutely no facts to back it up, their imaginations start running wild, and they're in this bubble. And here's my theory: they've always said that Herbie kept them in a bubble.
Yes.
Like they weren't the ones, like they would go out, but they weren't always hanging out with other rappers.
Yeah.
And for a period, a lot of people had an opinion about Salt-N-Pepa that they were stuck up. And so before they started like hanging out with folks and getting away from up on the Herbie, a lot of people did have a perception of Salt-N-Pepa, and Salt-N-Pepa probably because of that had a perception of the perception that people had of them. And so that probably lent to them thinking, "Oh my God," and having this runaway thoughts that Queen Latifah is gunning for them, because clearly they respect Queen Latifah, and they know she's a dope MC, and they're like, "Oh my God, she's coming for us. What did we do?"
Right.
And then it turned out to be a complete misunderstanding. Just so happened that she happened to stop there. I don't know if they. It's so wild to me and so funny to me when I think about that story, and when I heard it, I was like, "You do know you're Salt-N-Pepa, right?"
And what's crazy to me is I could have totally seen Salt-N-Pepa reacting with doing the hot shoe and like getting into it with Latifah because of how powerful that line is.
Right.
So It's interesting how that landed. I did not know about that. I also can in Salt-N-Pepa's shoes. To your point, it's 91, 92. So they're in between projects. You know, Black's Magic has done its thing. The
Yep.
new album ain't out yet. They also have had a huge pop moment with Let's Talk About Sex. They're an entity in the pop culture for real now. So I
Yes.
can also see, to your point, how they also may have internalized, like, does hip hop even see us as hip hop in this moment?
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. You're absolutely correct. And
Mhm.
you know, what these, and we're bringing up these anecdotes to you guys because we want y'all to realize that these people are human.
Mhm.
And even when we're looking at today's examples between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, we got to look past all of this other stuff about who's selling how much and all that. These are real people who are experiencing real time um, moments of humanity. You know, you've got Drake who is getting older and is having to consider the fact that he is not considered on top anymore,
Mhm.
or that's a reality that he might possibly have to deal with. And then Kendrick is, you know, creating his own
Yeah.
lane, and and is carrying a city on his back.
Mhm.
So God knows what he's going through. As we see in that lyric about letting Wayne down, he's dealing with his own insecurities and thoughts around this whole situation of where hip hop is. And he already knows that, okay, yeah, I really lit a fire with that they not like us.
Mhm.
So what people are already going to be on pins and needles trying to figure out, what am I going to say next?
Yes.
So heavy is the head that holds the crown, is what they say.
Indeed. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in as we reflect on famous, but many of you may not have known, rap misunderstandings. They definitely happen in hip hop, and we'll see them more in the future. But we appreciate y'all tuning in. If you can see our faces, if you can hear our voices, please subscribe wherever you are, and also do us a solid and share the show with your friends, family, colleagues. If you enjoy Q Points, chances are they will enjoy Q Points as well. Follow us on social media at Q Points Pod. Please support the show. We would absolutely appreciate it. You can shop our store at store.qpoints.com. You can visit us at Q Points Mag, which is magazine.qpoints.com. And there you can join for some additional content, exclusive content, etc. And last but not least, visit our website at qpoints.com, where you can check out all of our old shows, tune into some videos, the whole 9 yards. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
Absolutely. And like I always say, in this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
My name is Jay Ray, y'all.
And this has been Q Points Podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. We will see you on the next go round. Peace.
Peace.